What's up everyone, this is Minnie, and today I'm coming at you with my review for the new British Tier 10 aircraft carrier Malta. Now, before we get into it, a couple of things. One, this ship was provided to me for the purposes of testing and review by Wargaming as a community contributor. And two, don't forget to like this video and make sure to subscribe to my channel. We're about 90 subscribers away from getting YouTube partnership, and about 60 to 70% of you watching this video on average haven't hit that subscribe button yet. Now, let's talk about the Malta. So, the Malta, first off, she is, as I said, a Tier 10 premium British aircraft carrier. She will be available for 34,950 doubloons from October 12th until October 28th in the Armory, and after that, she will be available for 268,000 coal. Now, let's look into it a little bit before we talk about it. So, first off, survivability. Comes with 66,600 hit points as well as 34% torpedo protection damage reduction. Armor layout is a little bit meh. You've got a Citadel armor of 102 millimeters, but once you get through that, you're right into the Citadel and you have a very easy way to get a lot of damage dealt against you in a very short time. Looking up at the deck, you have a 102 millimeter flight deck with 38 millimeter auxiliaries. At the you have the 13 millimeter plating on the superstructure and then 25 on the fore and aft end deck. So, you gotta be careful that you're not gonna get smashed from the front or the rear, but you can also get hit from the side, which does make this little more so-so than some of the other ones you see. Regarding aircraft, it comes equipped with rocket attack aircraft, along with torpedo bombers and AP carpet bombers. But enough about looking at the ship out here, ladies and gentlemen. Let's take a look at it in game. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, the Malta. Let's talk about her. First off, I am absolutely in love with this ship as a CV. I love almost everything about this. So let's start with talking about the pros. First off, one of the biggest things is you have very strong reserves on all of your planes. Now, it's a little deceptive down here saying 12, 12, and 15. This is a bug in the client because when I press Alt, you'll notice that it's actually 20, 20, and 25. So bear that in mind as you're looking at the numbers that is a little bit inaccurate. So let's talk plane type. First off, with the rockets, the Blackburn Firebrands. Each rocket's going to do a max of 2,350 damage, comes with 28 millimeter penetration and a 9% fire chance. I like these as a general source of dealing damage. They do really well against lightly armored targets if you get the line. The downside to these rockets, ladies and gentlemen, is the fact that all of these rockets have a massive reticle. So as we watch my reticle as it comes in here, you will notice that if I pause right there, it's shrinking. And if we wait in, it doesn't quite shrink all the way. I don't get a great lineup on there, so it hasn't shrunk all the way. But even with that, 3,100 off the Petro. We'll take these back out again, get a little bit more on them. The rockets aren't very nice for dealing with DDs. I've gotten consistently good hits on DDs, and I've gotten up to 10k on battleships with a lot of superstructure, but they're honestly the most forgettable part of playing this ship. So now as we zoom in, you're going to see I'm going to try to go for the Sherman. We're going to watch again. You notice that as I'm launching, it still hasn't shrunk all the way, but we get off the run and you'll see that that's going to be another about 4k, 5k onto a DD. And that flight deck protecting me. Next up, let's talk about the torpedo bombers. So the torpedo bombers are one of the best things about this and probably your best damage dealer. 6,000 maximum damage, 35 knot speed, 470 millimeter in this case arming distance, and they come with 4 torps to a drop. Now, the downside with these torps is that the dispersion line is really wonky. They're nice torps, you can hit DDs with them, you can hit cruisers, you can smash battleships, and with 12 and a heal you can get runs off, and they do a lot of damage. I'm usually getting anywhere between 12 and 17k on a hit of 4, but they have such a weird drop. Now, one of the things that counteracts that is the fact that for these planes, once the reticle tightens all the way, you can turn it for about 90 degrees without it widening up. And so you notice we'll drop, and right here, as we go past and we look back here, you can see that the drop isn't exactly what you would think, and you've got a noticeable gap for ships to dodge. And so even though I lined it up nicely, you're going to see we're going to hit 3, the 4th is going to be easily dodged, but because of the heal we can turn around. And as you watch this drop in, we'll look at this drop and we'll see that we're going to hit a majority of those. That brings us, ladies and gentlemen, to our third type of armament. And the AP bombs are hilarious. So these are AP carpet bombs, 4,300 max damage, 4 bombs in a payload, and with 5 planes, you're dropping 20 AP bombs. They are not going to Citadel a lot of ships due to the fact that you need to find a ship with poor horizontal Citadel protection. You're not going to pen straight through a battleship stacks like if you were in a Manfred von Richthofen or a Hakuryu, but you will be able to still get good damage. Now, as we come in here, you'll see you've got a lot of plane health here. You want to line these up, get them bombed, or bow to stern, pardon me. And so as we go in here, this will drop quickly. We line in here, and you can just watch that absolute set of bombs there coming down in, and 9 hits for 11,000. That's a pretty standard hit you're going to get on the bombers, ladies and gentlemen. And I've gotten up to 20k before on an Ohio with these in the state they came to live server with. Like, those are absolutely amazing. The downside is, once again, if it's a heavily armored target with not a lot of superstructure, you may not pen the deck. So you got to be very careful with that. Now, some general pros that I like about these ships as well as we're sitting here watching this game go on. First off, extremely high health pools. You'll notice that even with Captain Build admittedly helping this, 32,000 health for 12 planes is massive. Second, you've got the high alpha. We talked about 24,000 on the torp drops, along with another set of, you know, with 20 bomb drops, you're looking at an 80,000 alpha on the bombs, even though you won't hit that many. This thing just racks up damage. I was consistently getting over 100k, over 125k. You'll notice in the time I've been talking, which was basically 1 squadron of each and 2 squadrons of the rockets, I was already over 50,000 damage 5 minutes into the game, and then with those 2 torps, I'm now at 64,000 damage just over 5 minutes into the game. This thing prints out damage like it's an FDR, except you don't have the 25-second wait time on them. Other things that are really nice about this, with the rockets, if you didn't notice, they have a very short reload, or like machine gun timing, so you'll be able to launch them out quickly and get them. Also, even though this isn't shrinking that quick because I was wiggling it, you are able to get the bombs into a very nice angle quickly onto stuff. So as you look just here as we watch it on the Petra, we're only going to get off a couple of the bombs. But even with that, you can still get a couple hits. I get 4 hits on it, and that's another 5k off the Petro. Now,
torpedoes in our way.
Let's talk the downside, ladies and gentlemen. So, the downsides. First off, you're dealing with the fact that you have below average plane speed. The planes are not that quick, ladies and gentlemen. And so, you have to deal with the fact that you have to spend captain points on getting your planes up to speed that you may not want to spend, or suffer with the fact that you're going to have low plane speed and it's going to take you longer to get where you want to go. Additionally, we already talked about, but the rockets have a large drop area and then the diverging spread on the torpedo bombers that make it rough. One thing that you won't see in this game as much is I find the anti-air to be meh. It's not bad. It can still stop planes. The fighters are really nice, but the anti-air on the ship, if you get focused, can be very rough in trying to delete enemy planes that are coming to attack you. So you have to bear that in mind with what's going to happen there. But beyond that, honestly, even those complaints are superficial. I think this is a really strong CV. I think this is the best British CV that they have released that's not counting super ships, and it just has so much going for it. This is a joy to play. It's amazingly fun. You can rack up a lot of damage very quickly with it, and I've just been enjoying it all the time I've been playing it, so I can't recommend it enough. I think at 268,000 coal, this is a must-have for any CV enjoyer, even beyond just enjoying the fact that it's named after Malta. So, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, let's talk through gameplay for the rest of this. So we're about 8 minutes in. If you've been paying attention to the game, you'll notice that our team is up one ship, but we've lost a lot of control. I'm sitting at over 103,000 damage now. But now I've got to focus in and think about what I want to go for. And you'll notice that these planes are regenning very quickly, which is nice. So we take out these, and we're looking for cruisers to hit. We're looking for cruisers to hit. We have the Kurfürst over wide. We have the Petro. I'd like to kind of spot the Minnow because these bombs aren't great against Sherman or Shima. We see that the Shima is going to go down, ladies and gentlemen. But we're going to look over here, and we're going to look in towards B. And you're going to see what I mean here in a second about what the bombs do to a lightly armored cruiser. So we come in here. We got an 18,000 health Minotaur. And so as we come in, we line up. And bear in mind, right as we go in here, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to pause it there. Not the greatest drop angle, but as we drop 18,000 health and 5 pens, 4 citadels, he just completely gets deleted. So when you find a light cruiser like a Jinan or a Minotaur, you're going to be able to do that if you can get the right angle with your bombs. Now, team is still in a rough spot here. Kurfürst is getting farmed down. There's a Petro, there's a Sherman, there's a Smolensk that's sitting in smoke. We've got these rocket planes out, and you can see that 140 knot speed I'm talking about. We're going to take a look in here, see what we can get on the Petro. You really do want to make sure you're getting a full side angle here on these planes, because you'll notice, one, as I come at this angle, it's not great, but two, because I run out of boost, he's able to turn in even more, which would have been dealt with by taking a better angle. So we get some hits on him, get a fire. The fire chance isn't the greatest. 9% isn't bad, but you're not going to be setting a ton of fires. And unlike most of the British ships, it's not a DOT focus because you only have the fire and flooding chance. Your AP bombs don't give you a fire chance as well, so you really got to focus. Now, at this point, ladies and gentlemen, my focus turns to dealing with the ships near me. I don't want to go after the Petro because there's a Smolensk and a Grozvoy there, and that's still a lot of AA even with this ridiculous health. But we're going to be able to take a look in here at the Kurfürst, which is going to take a big chunk right here, ladies and gentlemen, down to 41,000. And so we're going to speed in here, and we're going to drop and focus on getting this Kurfürst out of the game. And pay attention to his health. So right now he's at 45,000 in healing. We're going to get one drop off right here, ladies and gentlemen. And then we're going to turn around. You're going to see that our heal's coming up. So as we go in, this drop, he takes all of them, which totals out to about 15,000 damage. And then you notice that he got a double flood on him. And then we're going to come in here and we're going to drop again. And also, ladies and gentlemen, that got us the proc from Cunningham because of the fact that we got the 4 floods. And then you'll notice, here we go. The Kurfürst down, he's going to flood out, and so we're going to look towards the Smolensk because that's our next target. And once again, we've just been quietly flying around. We're 11 minutes in the game, we're at 182,000 damage. This thing prints damage like nobody's business. So we're going to look for the Smolensk here. We're going to pop up. I like that it rises them up because it provides an easy way to dodge some of the AA. We're going to set up the drop, ladies and gentlemen, and you're going to notice that unfortunately we're only going to get one hit, but it is a Citadel, so once again, can get a lot of damage onto light cruisers very quickly if you are able to aim accurately or get lucky. Smolensk takes the torp. We are tied 8-8, but we're up a lot of health, and now it's just on focusing down the remaining ships. So we're going to line up here. We're going to look at the Smolensk, try to dodge all of that flak, but this is one of those times where I get just absolutely murdered, which you can see the problem with this if you're not careful, but thankfully our Kurfürst just dev strikes the man. And so at this point, ladies and gentlemen, the game is over. We're up 9-8. We've got the health advantage. It's really just on killing stuff off. They've got a Grozvoy. They got a Sherman. I have torp planes out because I don't have the rockets, so I am hunting right now for their CV. We're going to come over here. We're going to spot the Grozvoy, get him spotted, let the Holland and Kurfürst open up on him for a second. We'll see that our Yoshino, who was a phenomenal player, by the way, is going to go through, and he's going to snag the Sherman here. And so we're going to look at the Audacious and go for our last run onto the Audacious as we try to dodge the Sherman flak. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, as the game is about to wrap up here with the last few ships dying, with the Sherman going there, the Grosvoy about to go, and we're going to look at the Audacious, which is also going to get farmed out. Like I said, I love this thing. There's some negatives, but I think this is a very strong entrant. This is going to sit solidly in the upper half of the tier 10 available aircraft carriers, and it's going to get a lot of play from me personally. But you'll see we'll get our last run off here, and remember that that amount of health is doing well. We drop off, and you'll notice that as we go in, we set up another set. Our fighters are doing nice work on the Audacious, but we drop in 13,000 damage in a flood with only 3 torps hit onto the Audacious. There's our high caliber. We break 200,000 damage, and ladies and gentlemen, the Audacious is going to get smacked. We're not even going to get to him with this set. So I hope you enjoyed my review of the Malta. Make sure to like the video and don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Keep an eye out, like I said, for the build video later the day that this is released or the day after. But as always, ladies and gentlemen, this is Minnie signing off.